What is up, awesome people of the internet, guys? Welcome to the SEC Women's Basketball Postseason Award Special. Guys, this season has been fantastic. We've seen some crazy upsets. We've seen some fantastic wins. We have seen some players who were relatively unknown before the season started make a name for themselves. We've seen excellence in the classroom and a whole lot more. And every single year in the SEC, at the end of the season, coaches all around the league have an opportunity to vote on these awards. They cannot vote for their player, but they do have an opportunity to vote. And every year we find out who won. There's a lot of debate, because some picks were obvious, right? Some picks were like debatable. There were some people who might have been snubbed. And today we're going to break it all down, talk about the winners, and not just say their names, but talk about what they did during the regular season that helped to get them this award. Now, guys, here's the deal. I know there's been a whole bunch of snubs that people have been talking about. This video is not about the snubs, okay? So yes, there have been people who are snubbed. I probably will make a separate video about all the players who got snubbed, but this is an opportunity to honor and celebrate the players who won awards and talk about why they actually won their awards. I see people, some people will mention the award winners or whatnot, just read their names and whatnot, but like you don't really get a feel for like what these people did and all this other stuff. So we'll do that in this video. Hopefully y'all are interested in that. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as we hop into the SEC postseason awards. And when it comes to postseason awards, we first start with the SEC Player of the Year for the second year straight. Madison Booker is a conference player of the year, but this time in the SEC. After winning the Big 12 Player of the Year as a freshman last year, Madison Booker led Texas to a dominant 29-2 record and a regular SEC regular season title in their first year in the SEC. But this is one of those things where Madison Booker, yes, some controversy around the selection. However, the thing that you have to know is Madison Booker's impact goes beyond the box score, right? She's averaged 16 points a game, 6.5 rebounds a game, 2.9 assists per game. She shot it pretty well, shooting 46.4% from the field and 41% from the three. She stepped up in big moments, averaging 21.5 points against ranked opponents, including when she dropped 28 points against Maryland, 26 points against Tennessee, and she had a 20 point, 11 rebound double double in versus South Carolina. Now I know the first game against South Carolina was not very good. The second game was much better for Madison Booker. She is one of those players who is the second Texas player ever to win back-to-back conference player of the year honors. So that's kind of cool. The last time that was achieved was by Annette Smith in 1984. And Madison Booker, she's been scoring like crazy. She recently hit 1,000 points. And, Kevin Durant is, someone who everybody knows in Texas. And she shares his number 35 jersey. And, he believes that Madison Booker is the real deal and she is going to have a fantastic career. I do agree with that. One of those things that Madison Booker did kind of struggle with during the season was consistency. However, when Madison Booker was on, she was on and was the number one choice for Texas all season long. All right, that is your player of the year. Let me know. Let me know the thoughts that you all have about these selections in the comments. Okay, next up, we got the freshman of the year. This one's basically unanimous. I haven't seen really anybody give a real argument for someone else who can be freshman of the year. Freshman of the year for the SEC is Mikayla Blakes. Now, Mikayla Blakes just capped off one of the most dominant first seasons we have seen in recent history. She's the first Commodore to win the award since 1990 and just the third player in program history to receive Freshman of the Year. Now, here's the thing. Mikayla Blakes, yes, she was the best freshman in the SEC, but honestly, one of the best freshmen in the country. let alone one of the best players in the country. Forget freshman, one of the best players in the country. She's averaged 23.3 points a game, ranking number 1 amongst freshmen and number 2 in the SEC. If you're thinking about all of Division 3, number 6 in points per game in Division 1. In the SEC play, she took it to another level, leading the league in scoring with 26.9 points a game in SEC play. Her season included some huge record-breaking performances. She had 2 back-to-back 50-point games. She scored 53 points against Florida, and then she capped that off with another awesome performance, 55 points versus Auburn, setting a new freshman record. Now, Mikayla Blakes, she don't just score 50 pointers, right? She also has scored 30 plus points in 5 SEC games, 25 plus points in 8 games, proving that she was a problem all season for defenses. She was the end all be all in a lot of ways for Vandy, and she made history, you know, as the first freshman since Aliyah Boston in 2020 to earn first team all SEC honors as a freshman. It's kind of cool. It's just a testament on like how impactful Mikayla Blakes was for her team, and beyond scoring, she kind of did a little bit of everything. She was able to pass the ball pretty well, 3.1 assists per game, 2.5 steals per game, while shooting 46% from the field, 35% from 3 as well. She set a Vandy record by winning the SEC Freshman of the Week 7 times, was named the AP Player of the Week twice. And Mikayla Blakes is looking to make some noise in the SEC tournament as well as the NCAA tournament. I've been enjoying watching Mikayla Blakes play, and this is just the beginning of her fantastic college career. All right, next up, we have Georgia Amoore. Georgia Amoore is your SEC Newcomer of the Year. Now, in her first season in the SEC, Georgia Amoore wasted no time in making her mark. She earned SEC Newcomer of the Year while also securing the first team all SEC honors. She is a former Virginia Tech standout who stepped into a not so brand new system, though brand new team, because her coach came with her, and some of her teammates from Virginia Tech came with her. So it wasn't really a new system per se. It was a new location, and yeah, she delivered the best statistical season of her career because she can indeed do it in the SEC. Georgia Amoore averaged 18.8 points a game, 6.9 assists per game. She averaged 2.4 made threes a game, leading the SEC in assists and ranking 3rd nationally in that metric. She was someone who was a consistent offensive force, scoring in double digits in all but one game and hitting the 20-point mark 12 times. She's someone who put up at least 15 points and 5 assists in 18 games, the most by any SEC player since 2003. And if you're wondering about her standout moment, well, it was a 43-point explosion in a win over Oklahoma, where she not only had 43 points, but she also had 8 assists as well, becoming the only player in the SEC to do that since 2003. Yeah, I mean, she just did a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Beyond scoring, she was Kentucky's offensive engine, right? She was responsible for nearly 50% of Kentucky's total points in SEC play through either scoring or assists. Wild, 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 wild. And she set the school record for the most games with 7 or more 3-pointers in a season. Georgia Amoore, her career stats put her in elite company. She is the only active Division I player, men or women, with at least 2,000 career points, 800 assists. She joins Caitlin Clark and Sabrina Ionescu as the 3rd player to reach that milestone in D1 history. And she's looking to do even more in the SEC tournament. All right, next up we have Georgia's teammate, current teammate and former teammate at Virginia Tech, Clara Strack, who is your SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Clara Strack has been a dominant force in the paint all season, earning the SEC Defensive Player of the Year award while also being on the All SEC second team as well. And of course, making it on the SEC defensive team. She was the anchor. She was the anchor for Kentucky's defense, leading the SEC with 2.5 blocks per game and ranking fourth in rebounding at 9.5 per game. Clara Strack is someone who shattered records. She shattered Kentucky's single season block record with 70 and set a new single game block record when she was blocking shots left and right in a game against Ole Miss. She was the driving force behind Kentucky's new team block record, which was 195 during the regular season. And she surpassed a mark, that's something that's been standing for a long time. And with her help, Kentucky helped to surpass it. She just has the ability to protect the rim and make her one of the more feared defenders in the SEC. When you coming in the paint, especially if you're a little shorty, you better watch out because Clara Strack is probably gonna block the shot. She controlled the glass, leading the Wildcats with 13 double doubles and just dominating matchups left and right on the defensive and rebounding front. Some of her biggest performances was when she had 23 points, 15 rebounds, and 3 blocks versus Tennessee. And when she had 23 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks against South Carolina. No player has done that in Columbia since UConn's Gabby Williams in 2017. So that's kind of cool. And also she had 8 blocks against Ole Miss, creating a new block single game record. Though she has done her thing on the offensive end as well, 15.3 points a game, 2.7 assists per game. Her true impact is on the defensive end and how she was able to alter games with her presence in the paint. All right, so shout out to Clara Strack. All right, from one sophomore to another, we got MiLaysia Fulwiley, who has won the SEC Sixth Woman of the Year. South Carolina's MiLaysia Fulwiley has been coming off the bench for all season, and she becomes just the third Gamecock to ever win this award. Two of the other players who won this award for South Carolina, Elena Coates and Camilla Cardoso. Good company. Really, really good company. The sophomore guard has been changing the game over her bench. She's been a game changer on the bench. And defensive, she made a defensive impact when she's come in the game as well. She thrived in SEC play, right? Over the regular season, she averaged 11.9 points a game. However, in SEC play, she increased that scoring to 13.4 points a game against conference opponents while shooting 41.5% from the field. Overall, 11.9 points, 2.9 rebounds, 1.7 assists, 1.5 steals, making her one of the most productive bench players in the nation. We all know that South Carolina, their strength is in their bench, and MiLaysia Fulwiley is a huge component to that. She leads South Carolina in points per 40 minutes with 24.9 and has recorded 3 20-point games, including a career-high 24 points against Vandy. Beyond scoring, MiLaysia Fulwiley is a disruptive defender, right? She can get after you and steal that basketball. She is ranked number 9 in the SEC when it comes to steals. And she can also get some blocks as well. Ranked 10th in blocks in SEC play. She is someone who has had 7 games with 3 or more steals. And so not only is she offensively really good, but defensively she can absolutely hold her own. MiLaysia Fulwiley is a key player for South Carolina as they head into the SEC tournament and in terms of the NCAA tournament as well. She's going to be a big, big player. So watch out for more of MiLaysia. All right, next up we have the SEC Coach of the Year, which goes to Vic Schaefer. In Texas's first season in the conference, he has made a mark for himself, winning the award for the 4th time in his career. Now, if you're like, wait, he won it 4 times, even though this is his first year in Texas? Yeah, because if you didn't know, Vic Schaefer was a big deal in Mississippi. He was the head coach at Mississippi State for a long time, won the award 3 times when he was at Mississippi State. But this year's recognition is very significant because he led a new team in a new league to an SEC regular season title and a number 1 ranking in the nation, finishing 29-2 overall and 15-1 in SEC play, taking down every conference opponent at least once, including splitting with South Carolina. Now, under his leadership, we have seen some fantastic players emerge, right? You got Madison Booker, you got Jordan Lee, some of the most notable young players on his roster, and they've just been doing their thing. And this is one of those things where, yes, Vic Schaefer has had a lot of success at Texas, but in large cases, it's because of his ability to recruit. Because here's the thing. Players are the people who make these coaches look good. Yes, Vic Schaefer is a good coach, but it really is a back and forth between really, really good players and the convergence of really, really good players and a really good coach who can kind of put people in the right positions, call certain plays, and make some stuff happen. Now, here's the thing. The real work is not over for Vic Schaefer and Texas, and we will ultimately see what they do in the SEC tournament. All right, next up, I wanted to highlight this because a lot of people probably ain't going to talk about this. However, here's the deal. I believe that the best thing about women's college basketball is the free education that these players receive. And not only do you want to be successful on the court, but the likelihood of you actually play basketball full time is not very high. So you have to make sure that you are doing your thing in the classroom to ensure that you have a successful future. And that is something that every year the SEC honors with their SEC Scholar Athlete of the Year. And this year, it goes to Mizzou's Grace Slaughter. And, they recognize her excellence in the classroom, both, in the classroom and on the court. She becomes just the second player in Missouri history to win this award. And, Slaughter, she's not only doing her thing, in the classroom, but also on the court. She is the leading scorer for Missouri, averaging 15.2 points a game. And she's just been absolutely doing her thing, stepping it up even more in SEC play as that increased to 16 points per game. She's one of the most efficient shooters in the country, ranking 4th nationally in a 3-point percentage with 46.6. And she's had some pretty standout games, right? In January, she had a buzzer beater to get Missouri the dub over Mississippi State, getting that big chance. But also, not only is she the leading scorer for Missouri, not only is she helping them to win games off the court, Grace Slaughter has maintained a perfect 4.0 GPA while pursuing a degree in health science. She has made the SEC Honor Roll and the Missouri Dean's List 3 times, just proving that she has a commitment to academics that matches her dedication in basketball. Despite Missouri not being a good team in the SEC, Grace Slaughter has been a bright spot for this team, both, again, in the classroom and on the court. All right, now we have some other awards to talk about, and these, I'm not going to dive as deeply into these, mainly because that would take forever, but I do want to talk about the SEC awards for their all tournament team. Okay. So Let's take a look at the first team for the SEC. Again, guys, this was voted on by the coaches of the SEC. All right. So for the first team, all SEC, we got Sarah Ashley Barker of Alabama, Georgia Amoore of Kentucky, Flau'jae Johnson of LSU, Anissa Morrow from LSU, Mikayla Williams from LSU, Reagan Beers from Oklahoma, Joyce Edwards from South Carolina, Madison Booker from Texas, and Mikayla Blakes from Vandy. So we got 2 freshmen on this first team list, which is huge. You actually have a bench player in Joyce Edwards who was named to the first team all SEC, which is like crazy, crazy awesome of an honor. You have 3 players from LSU, and you got 2 newcomers to the league in Georgia Amoore and Reagan Beers. All right, that is your first team all SEC. Now let's take a look at the second team all SEC. For second team all SEC, we have Deanna Gaston with Auburn. We got Clara Strack with Kentucky, Madison Scott with Ole Miss, Jakayla Jordan with Mississippi State, Peyton Verhulst with Oklahoma, MiLaysia Fulwiley with South Carolina, Tahina Powpow with South Carolina, and Talaysia Cooper with Tennessee. So the only teams that have multiple is South Carolina with MiLaysia and Tahina. All right, let's continue on. For the all defensive team, we got surprise, Clara Strack, Anissa Morrow with LSU, Sanaya Fagan with South Carolina, Raven Johnson with South Carolina, Talaysia Cooper with Tennessee, and Rory Harmon from Texas. Now we get to the all freshman list. We got Yuting Dang with Auburn, Liv McGill with Florida, Trinity Turner with Georgia, Mia Woolfolk with Georgia. We got Sierra Tinu from Ole Miss, Joyce Edwards from South Carolina, and Jordan Lee from Texas, and Mikayla Blakes from Vandy. All right, guys, that is your look at the SEC postseason awards. Hopefully that was interesting for y'all. It took forever to actually make this thing happen. Just to research all these players and like write out like stuff to talk about with them and whatnot. But to recap, Madison Booker takes home Player of the Year, making history as the first back-to-back as a back-to-back conference Player of the Year. Winning in the Big 12 last year, winning in the SEC this year. Mikayla Blakes had a record-breaking freshman season at Vandy, winning the the SEC Freshman of the Year award, making something happen since that we haven't seen since Aliyah Boston as the All SEC first team as well. Georgia Amoore proved that she was more than just a transfer, dominating in the SEC as the Newcomer of the Year, while her teammate Clara Strack locked up the Defensive Player of the Year award, shattering Kentucky's block records. MiLaysia Fulwiley gave South Carolina some instant energy off the bench, winning the Sixth Woman of the Year. And Vic Schaefer took home Coach of the Year for the SEC in the Longhorns first season in the league. And cannot forget about the book smart nature of Grace Slaughter, who balanced a 4.0 GPA and elite scoring to win the Scholar Athlete of the Year. Now, guys, those are the awards. What did y'all think? I know there were some snubs. Let me know your snubs in the comments below. Also, let me know what you thought about this video. I tried to make this very detailed in terms of like going through these players and whatnot and talking about like specifically talking about them more than what you would probably see. Hopefully people actually watch this video. But I wouldn't be surprised if people didn't, because like in general, I don't know if people are as interested in this type of stuff than they are in like controversy and like terrible stuff that's happening and blah blah blah. But I wanted to make a video celebrating the awesomeness of these players. It took me a long time to make this. I will try my best to make this for the others, like the Big Ten, for especially the Big Ten and the SEC, and possibly the Big 12 as well. But we'll ultimately see what happens from here. If y'all could please do me a huge favor and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for more women's basketball content. And guys, March Madness is here. I'm excited about it. And let's get to it. Till next time, guys. Bye bye.